Chair. Can I open by saying that I agree with absolutely everything that David Parker said, and also my friend and colleague Leanne Dalziel, who spoke before and didn't refer to the Human Rights Commission submission until later in the piece, because she had a lot of other things to say before that. And also because, I'll be honest, this is a great submission, and during the dinner break I'd taken this submission away to read again. And the reason I'd done that, and unwittingly I did that, and I deprived Leanne Dalziel of her reference notes, but I do want to acknowledge the Human Rights Commission and again the Law Commission for the common sense, the Law Society, for the common sense approach that they have towards this bill. And all that, when I listened to David Parker, we've talked about this. Certainly no one in this House, Mr Chair, has any opposition to things running smoothly in courts, to access to justice, to efficiency, but justice being served fairly surely has to be the first principle. Not seen to be done, says Rajan Prasad, and I completely agree with him, but it is also, it has to be the first principle. And we've seen in this House, Mr Chair, many doubts being raised. And the solution is not that hard. The solution, Mr Chair, there's some very good supplementary order papers, amendments on the table, and I know that the ACT Party, although they may feel bound by some sort of relationship with the National Party, God knows what's happened to achieve that, but they may feel bound to support this bill in its entirety without looking at some very sensible amendments. And what I would say to this House, Mr Speaker, is that if this bill goes through as it is, there is no trial period. It is in its entirety brought into effect. And what does it mean? Yes, in many instances there will be lots of access, lots of efficiencies. But what our concern is the concerns that have been raised from this side of the House, from the Green Party, of those situations where parties don't consent, where the accused doesn't consent to the remote participation. And what's the downside of that? If we let's look at it firstly from the accused. And we all know, when we sit in our select committees, how difficult it is sometimes for people to participate. I can see many members, the member from the Maori Party nodding his head almost. We've seen... You're what? Going to sleep? Well, I'm sorry I can't keep the Maori member awake, but it is your job to stay awake in the House. You could go walk about and wake up, but it is your job to stay awake in the House and listen to this debate. But the question is that when it is about a fair trial, and it is about, from the victim's perspective, it is about them being able to face their accuser. So that all we are asking for is the ability for people for remote participation to happen by agreement. And in many instances, it will be appropriate. But as my colleagues have said, in a trial situation, if somebody feels completely intimidated by, as we've seen in Select Committee, let's face it, as we've seen where the sound mightn't be as good as it should be, the video coverage, a bit of flickering, and it throws people off what they're saying. They're distracted. What do they do? What does it look like? It looks like they're not on the... It looks like they're maybe a bit shifty. All of those things can have such a major implication in these situations. You agree?
Absolutely.
Rajan Prasad agrees with me. So what we've seen is so many situations that actually give an opportunity to the government to fix this so that every member in this House can support this bill. Mr Chair, Mr Chair, Mr Chair.
Lynn Pillay.
Every member can support this bill. And we've seen situations where the Human Rights Commission advised that we should have a trial period. What's wrong with that? We've seen many situations where the government has imposed new legislation that has been absolutely disastrous. Nothing short of a disaster. So if that's the case, why in this situation, if the government is so confident that this is going to work, why not say have a trial period? Why not? Why not look at the sensible amendments from David Parker and from Kennedy Graham from the Green Party that say, right, for substantive issues, let's have agreement of the parties, because in many instances that will be achieved. Let's do that as a first step. Then if it works, once it's been tested, things can move on. But no, this government's determined to not listen to the people, not listen to the Human Rights Commission, not have a Bill of Rights vet, not listen to the common sense from the Law Society that says there are some problems with this legislation. Just like there are problems with national standards, just like there are problems with ACC, just like there are problems with their law and order 3 strikes policy. All of that could be avoided if the government would put their big egos aside, and I'm talking about Wayne Matt there, and just said, let's listen to the people. How hard's that? Let's listen to what the people say. And the people say, we need to test this. We need to make sure that justice in New Zealand, or New Zealand as the Minister would say, justice is delivered in the way it should be, the way that we are proud of in our country. And I heard David Parker, what a common sense suggestion. Could I have a drink, please? What a common sense suggestion from David Parker. What a common sense. This is choking me up.
Point of order, Honourable Simon.
I just want to give Lynn Pillay some time to recover from her coughing fit, and that's why I'm taking this point of order.
Point of order? If she doesn't mind, I'd like to have my...
The member has the call. Just give her a moment to compose herself.
Chair, I would very much like Hone Hauawera to take this call. I'm really choked up about this.
Mr. Chair.